Watch Collecting 101 for women. Terminology. So, if you're a lady and you're new to watch collecting, as I am, there's a lot of terminology that gets thrown around, particularly by watch bros, that may be confusing. And what I want to do today in this video is give you just some of the basic 101 terminology you will hear when people talk about features and technologies of collectible watches. If we haven't met, my name's Krista Summit, KristaSummit.com. I think I've probably loved watches all my life, and just in the last 6 months or so, gotten into collecting. So I'm on a journey and would invite you, if you're a lady that's into watch collecting, take the journey with me. So at any rate, let's talk about watch features and just some of the terms that you'll hear. So first of all, probably the easiest one to talk about is the dial. Now, commonly people will refer to this as the watch face, and I'm not in this to be snobby. I still say it quite a lot. But when you're looking at micro brand watches like this one from Islander, for example, uh, you're going to hear people talk about, okay, this has a robin's egg blue face, a dial. See, right there, I just did it. A dial, not face. So just to, just so you know, use them interchangeably, but that's the common term in the industry, okay? The top of this clear top is what they call the sapphire crystal. And some of your better watches will have a it's actually made out of sapphire. Reason being is sapphire is second only to diamonds on the Mohs scale for hardness. So it's highly, highly scratch resistant compared to any other material that you may have. Next, let's see, let's go around on the outside. So as you probably have seen these many, many times, and it's the stem, right? And so you'll hear people talk about, or crown, and you'll hear people talk about a screw down crown. So that kind of comes from the dive industry or diving watches, so that moisture doesn't get into the watch, right? So there's your that's the crown right there, the stem, and as I said, it does screw down until you have to adjust it, right? So next, let's talk about lugs. So you'll hear people talk about what a measurement is lug to lug. So the lugs are these two metal, I guess prongs, kind of, sort of, that stick out, and that's where the bracelet or the watch band connects to the body of the watch. So why do you hear, and a lot of times you might want to think that it's here to here, but no, it's actually measured here to here. And the reason for that is so that you have an idea of A, how big the watch face is, and then B, how big it is when you've got it on your wrist and whether or not it's going to be a good fit. If you have small wrists like me, that's really, really important. Okay, so on the watch dial, of course, you have hands that indicate the time, right? And we all know the hour hand and the minute hand and the second hand. You will hear people talk about 2-hand watches, 3-hand watches, and in the case of chronographic watches, 5-hand. So when someone says they've got a 3-hand watch or they're selling a 3-hand watch, that's what they mean, is hour, minute, second. Okay. This particular watch does not have day and or date to it. I've got one coming in, so when I get that one, I'll share it with you guys. The next part I want to talk about is the indices here. And those are, that's just where the hour markers are, that indicate the time. And one thing to note in terms of quality is you'll hear the term handset indices, and meaning that whether it's metal or ceramic or what have you, that somebody actually went in and hand set those, or manufacturing set those in place on the dial instead of painted on. So that's kind of a quality indicator, if you will. It's a good thing to keep in mind. Bezel. So the bezel is, this part is like from here to here, around the outside of the, I guess you'd say it's the perimeter of the dial. And so you'll hear bezel as another measurement, just to give you an idea how big the watch dial is. So that's important. Let's see. Then on the back, and I hope you can see this, and I don't necessarily intend for this to be a flex because it's more common than you think, but the back of the watch case is clear, and I believe that if I remember right, that's called an exhibition back, and it just shows off the inner workings of the watch and the mechanics, the little gears and so forth. This watch is what's called automatic, an automatic watch. Now, probably since the late 70s, early 80s, quartz watches took over the watch industry. And so, mainly because you don't have to wind it, right? You get a battery in a few years and you keep going. Well, some in the watchmaking community felt this cratered the industry and took out some of the artisanship or craftsmanship of watchmaking. So there was this revolution to kind of invent something in between. So that's what this is. This is an automatic watch. Now, you pull the crown out and you'll wind it maybe 30 times, and then it runs as long as you're wearing it regularly. So it's kind of fueled by perpetual motion, I guess you could say. So if you can see that little movement there, and if I shift this, you can kind of see it, and it kind of builds up power. The spring gets tighter as you're walking and gesturing and so forth. So let's see, what is there anything else I needed to talk about? Oh yes, so you can't see this right now, and I won't demo it because I don't think it'll show. But another thing with high quality collectible watches is you'll hear something called lume for short, or luminescence, which basically, as my nephew quickly schooled me on, oh wait, Krista, you mean it glows in the dark? Yeah, it glows in the dark. So in this case, it's the indices we just talked about and the hands have what they call lume on them. And if you're somewhere, if you're driving or you're at a club, or walking at night or something, and you want to see you can see the watch here, you can see what you need to see in terms of the time and the hands. Let's see. Oh, one last little fun fact, and you'll hear these little cutesy nicknames, I call them, as you talk about different watch brands. But if you see there, at the top where the 12 marker is, there are two indices bars, and some people refer to that as a Kit Kat indices. Go figure. But anyway, just a fun fact. So anyway, as I said, I'm journeying, I'm learning. And I feel like it's also a growing market for manufacturers, because I think the fastest growing segment for watch collectors are women. But if you look at, I would say 90% of the watch reviewers, educators, enthusiasts on YouTube, they're guys. Love you, Watch Bros. I love all of them. But I think also we need to keep in mind the female collector, and that's what I hope to do with this series. So, anyway, would appreciate it if you would like and subscribe using the buttons below. And also turn on the notifications so you'd like to know when I drop my next video. And I'd love for you to stay in touch. My email is krista@kristasummit.com. If there's a particular question you have or watch that you'd like to talk about, we can do that. And if not, if I'm not familiar with it, I'll go research it. Okay. Thank you. Until next time, it's Krista Summit. Bye bye.